Daniel Sports Central, we go over a March Madness game preview and prediction on the Sweet 16 matchup between the North Carolina Tar Heels and the Alabama Crimson Tide. Two teams that have had strong runs in this tournament so far. North Carolina knocking off Wagner, and then most recently Michigan State. This is a team that's experienced and they are built for a deep run. They're taking on Alabama, a team that is the top team in the country, offensively averaging 91 points a game. Alabama is a team that, if they're hitting their shots and they can continue to score at the level that they are, this is a very dangerous team that can make a deep run in this tournament as well. So when it comes down to it, this could be a high-scoring shootout. We'll be going over a full game preview and prediction on this matchup here today. Let's get started with their team trends. North Carolina once again wins over Wagner and Michigan State, both wins being in dominant fashion. That Michigan State game seemed like a potential trap game there. Michigan State coming off of a really impressive first-round win, and we know the talent that the Spartans have, but the Tar Heels had no issues, beat them 85-69. You look at Alabama on the other side. This team put up 109 on Charleston. That's a March Madness record, most points in a game scored by any team, and it makes sense for it to come out of this Alabama team that's averaging 91 a game. Just insane. Also beat Grand Canyon 72-61. Weren't quite as hot in that game. Grand Canyon definitely kept it close for a while, but the Tide still found a way in the end. Games be on Thursday the 20th in LA. Your tip-off is 9:39. Spread's going North Carolina by 4.5 yards. So, you consider everything as well. This is a pretty late tip-off for both teams. After 10:30 Eastern for these two teams, over-under 173.5. A really high over-under here. It makes sense. You got two teams that are especially strong on offense. Alabama, all they play is offense. This defense allows a lot of points, but their offense, once again, is the best in the country when it comes to points a game. BPI also going with the Tide here, 52%. You look at the West region. On the other side of this, we got Arizona and Clemson. Clemson definitely a dark horse, probably one of the bigger dark horses of the tournament, as many were expecting them to lose in the first round to New Mexico, but since then, they've had a couple of really solid wins, and can't forget about Arizona, a team that's also really strong offense. You got three of the best offenses really in the country here, all in the West region in North Carolina, Alabama, and Arizona. But your stat comparison, Tar Heels 82 points a game, 70 points allowed. This team is 6-2 against the top 25. Just all around a really strong team here in North Carolina, and you consider, RJ Davis, who averaging 21 a game, Baycott, who's just an all-around excellent player. This is a team that's got experience. It is no surprise to see the Tar Heels in the Sweet 16, and I really wouldn't be surprised if this team eventually won a national title as well. There's a lot of teams that could win this title, though. There's I'd say 4 or 5 teams in particular. North Carolina's one of them, that could definitely win the championship this season. But then you got Alabama, 91 points a game, averaging. This team allows 81 points a game, though. Once again, this defense allows a lot of points. It's been that way for the majority of the season. And they're 2-7 against the top 25, so not quite as strong of a team against good opponents in comparison to the Tar Heels, who are 6-2 in those games. Your key points, North Carolina 29-7. This team is experienced. They're built for a run. They're also red hot in recent time, having won 10 of their past 11. Couldn't say the same about Alabama. This team was a bit inconsistent down the stretch. Lost 4 of their last 6 to finish out. To finish out the regular season, if you also count the SEC tournament. But for Alabama too, that's the cases for this team is if shots aren't falling, this team is in trouble because their defense isn't very strong. They are a very fast-paced team that scores a lot. And when they're hitting their shots, this team has scored over 100 a lot of times this season, but they've also allowed over 100 points multiple times. It's for Alabama, it's just about how hot can this team be. And they're seeking their second ever Elite Eight as well. The only other time this team was in the Elite Eight was 2004. And not the same case for the Tar Heels. This team, obviously one of the premier programs in college basketball, seeking their 10th Elite Eight appearance in the past 20 years. That would be half of the past 20 years the Tar Heels have been in the Elite Eight. So obviously a very successful program for the long term. And North Carolina's been here before. Alabama, they've had a couple of really strong seasons in a row, despite being a bit disappointing in the postseason. But North Carolina has been here. This is a team that's got experience, and they're known for having success with deep runs in the tournament. So that's something you got to consider as well. But with that, let's get the prediction here for North Carolina and Alabama coming up here in the Sweet 16. This is bound to be a high-scoring game. In the end, give me the Tar Heels to knock off the Tide 86-80. I really think that, Alabama's just not as reliable of a team. I just don't have as much confidence in them as I do with North Carolina. The Tar Heels are a much more balanced team. They're all around a really strong team, where Alabama's especially strong with offense. But offense isn't exactly the most trustworthy thing as well. If you're having an off night, which Alabama did against Grand Canyon, they only scored 72 points in that game. Most times when Alabama's scoring that few, they tend to lose their games, but their defense only allowed 61, which was huge. But in the end, I just don't know that Alabama can stop North Carolina. Tar Heels are just a brutal team that's all around built for a deep run here. They got experience. Give me the Tar Heels to advance on to the Elite Eight. I'm picking North Carolina 55%. I'm going to take Tar Heels to cover the spread as well. I am taking the under on the points. I feel like that line of 173 is pretty aggressive. Although if you think Alabama's going to win this game, go ahead and take the over. That probably means Alabama found their way with their shots, and they probably ended up scoring in the high 90s, I would imagine. But with that, let me know your thoughts in the comments below on this matchup, your score predictions, all of that, who advances on to the Elite Eight. And I appreciate you guys watching as always. My name's Evan. This is All Sports Central. Stay tuned for more. We'll catch you on the next one.